along with Jaden Shackelford and Javon Quinterly. We'll ask Coach for some general thoughts on the game. Then we'll take your questions just for the two student athletes and then excuse them, and we'll finish up with Coach. So, Coach Oats, would you begin?
I mean, give Vanderbilt a lot of credit. They're down 15. Early in the second half, stayed with it, fought. I mean, they're a tough team. We took everything we had to beat them at their place. We knew it would be a tough game. We got to do a lot of stuff to win games at this level. You can't just play hard. I thought our guys gave an effort, but we had 18 turnovers to go make a free throw. Didn't shoot the ball particularly well. We didn't do a very good job guarding them without fouling. We gave up 54 in the second half, and you look at how they got them. They hit 6 threes. I didn't think we did a great job with the scouting report on some of the threes they got off. They run good actions. They got some off that. Studi's obviously a good shooter, and then we just kept fouling Pippen. I mean, he's a good player. He picks up fouls a lot, and we didn't do a very good job guarding him without fouling. So combination of all that, we give up 15-point lead, and it's a tough way to lose, to go out after some of the wins we've had this year and what we're capable of doing. Lost 3 in a row now. We got to regroup and get ready for the NCAA tournament.
Take your questions for either of the student athletes. If you'll raise your hand and we'll get one of the floor microphones to you. We'll start on the right side.
Guys, what was different about that second half when they came out? They had that 12-0, 15-2 run.
Jaden, would you take that first?
It's just I feel like we talked about coming out having a strong second half. Something we struggled with this year for sure. But when they went on that run, it was just kind of just a little adversity we needed to answer, and we kind of just let them keep piling buckets up and not getting stops that we needed. So it's a learning experience. We got another shot at this, so it's just coming out in the second half stronger, locked in to getting the stops.
Same for Javon.
Just to piggyback off of what you said, we just didn't get stops. That's really what it comes down to.
Raise your hand if you have questions for either. Right on the right side, go ahead.
Shaq, you're just saying you'll have another shot at this. You have the NCAA tournament coming up. So kind of how for either guy, do y'all kind of regroup and get things back together, knowing what you're capable of?
Just staying together. That's the number one thing for us. We got to stay together, know that we're going to go on that floor and battle with each other one more time, hopefully more than once. So I feel like it's just staying together, staying locked in. There's more out there for us, and we're capable of doing a lot of good things in March.
Right, next question on the right side.
Again, for both guys, with Scottie Pippen's comments last night about this team being beatable, how much did that motivate you? How much did it get in your head at all during the game tonight?
Javon, would you take that first?
It's something we talked about, something that did motivate the team. I think we came out with the right energy. We just didn't put it together for 40 minutes.
Jaden?
I agree. Obviously, we don't try to pay too much attention to stuff like that, but obviously when it's a game of this magnitude, I guess you kind of use it for motivation. And like you said, we came out with the right energy, right mindset. Just got to put it together for 40 and win those tough games.
Question on the left side, go ahead.
For both of you guys, Vanderbilt scores 28 in the first half, 54 in the second. What do you sort of want to prioritize going into the NCAA tournament in terms of just sort of nailing down defensive consistency?
Jaden?
Like Coach Oates said, just being more locked into the scouting report, not giving shooters open threes off of actions that we've gone over multiple times in practice, and really just locking in, getting stops. I feel like there got to be an intensity about us going into the NCAA tournament to just get stops and shut the other team down.
Same for Javon.
I just think kind of need a mindset shift and, practice walkthroughs because, we guard these actions. We guard these actions 2-3 days, and then the game comes and we don't guard them the way we were guarding them in practice and in shoot around. So just needs to be a mindset shift. And, we just got to, it has to be some type of carryover into the game. And, and obviously, the turnover is like, that's something that needs to be that's something that needs to be cut down.
Time for one more question, anyone? All right, we'll excuse the student athletes. You can return to the locker room. And we'll continue on with Coach Oates. If you'll raise your hand and we'll get a floor mic to you. Raise your hand. Or you start on the right side.
Coach, you talked about the free throws. Lately your team's been shooting pretty well, but then tonight, obviously, it was a struggle. Do you think it kind of became like a mental thing for your team where it just seemed like every trip to the line, it was 1 of 2?
Yeah, I mean, it looked like that a little bit. We didn't have very many guys step up and go 2 for 2 often. I mean, obviously Keon's the best free throw shooter. He made those 3. We got fouled on the 3, and I think JD went 2 for 2. It seemed like everybody's going 1 for 2, 0 for 2, and guys getting frustrated, but got to be a little bit more mentally tough. If it's not, it wasn't going great in the first half. I think we were 10 of 18 in the first half. We just need to turn around and step up and make them. But that's kind of our deal when you're locked in. I think you're locked in. I think you're taking care of the ball. I think you're stepping to the free throw line, making free throws. I think you're locked into the scouting report. And I don't know if everybody was quite as locked in as they need to be tonight.
Question on the left side.
Hey, Coach, obviously you guys won 5 of 6. You've now lost 3 in a row. There's obviously still a lot to play for, but where do you go from here?
Yeah, I mean, we've tried to reference other teams that have made runs. We've been a little up and down this year. Got some of the best wins in the country, and we got some tough losses. The team that beat us last year in the Sweet 16 game, we went 12 of 25 at the free throw line, lost to UCLA. If UCLA almost lost to Michigan State in that playing game, they were an 11 seed and they ended up going to the Final Four. They lost 4 in a row, lost their last 3 regular season games, lost the first round of the conference tournament. They lost 4 in a row going to the NCAA tournament. They made a run to the Final Four and they had to play a playing game. So, I think Gonzaga will probably end up as an overall number 1 seed. They lost to Duke on a neutral, St. Mary's on a true road game, and we essentially played them on a home game. We played them in Seattle, and so we've only team that beat them in the state of Washington. We beat Baylor, who won the whole thing last year. And we beat Houston, who was a Final Four team last year. We've been up and played well against Kentucky, and for large stretches played well against Auburn. Those 2 teams will be 1 or 2 seeds. I think we've proven we can play with anybody in the country. We've also proven we can lose to anybody on our schedule. So, we got to get the guys' mindsets in a good spot. We're going to play a week from today or a week from tomorrow, whichever we end up at. And we got to have a great week of preparation going into it and see if we can't, because we were close tonight. I mean, we make some free throws. We win the game. We take care of the ball. I mean, some of the turnovers are just a little mind blowing. Just kind of handing the ball to the other team, just missed dribbled by some pretty skilled players. So it's definitely stuff we can fix. We got to fix it and see if we can't get on a similar run to what some other teams have done in the past.
Question on the right side. Go ahead.
Scottie Pippen Jr. was just in here. He said that one of the assistants or someone in the staff from Alabama was shouting over to him something about before the game about his comments about Alabama being beatable before the game. Is that something you were aware of? And how does that comment, factor into your pregame talk?
I didn't know anything about that. Probably not something we want our assistants doing, is talking to the other players before the game. That's probably not the smartest thing to be doing. So address that afterwards here. I didn't know anything about that.
Raise your hand. Other questions? Let's come to the front row.
Coach, last week after the A&M loss, you referenced the fact of a little bit of a void in leadership with guys like Herb, Petty, and Reese no longer here. Kind of challenged your team. Was there anybody this last week and a half that stepped up either vocally or just in practice? And how important is that going to be as you guys head into the NCAA tournament?
I think James Rojas has tried a lot. He plays hard. He's more than willing to talk. He's willing to address guys that aren't going hard. It's, he's got an intensity about him. It's, he made some tough plays for us tonight. Shackelford's been trying. I think he's about the right stuff. He's had a good week of practice, and Quinterly had a really good week of practice. I mean, he had some tough turnovers tonight. Thought the one play he got fouled before the ball was loose, and then he kind of ran over the kid. He kind of was tough. He's in foul trouble. He's not usually in foul trouble, but I thought he really had a good week of practice and was trying to say the right thing. So, we need those guys to lead again this week. We can't be discouraged because we lost a game. happens in sports. We miss free throws. We have to step the free throw line and make them. But the stuff that's controllable, we got to do a better job with, and need the guys to continue to lead for another week. Let's try and stretch this season as long as we can make it. I think it's a good group of guys that likes playing with each other.
Raise your hand. Have time for one or two more. Anyone? Right on right side. Go ahead.
How challenging was it to kind of respond to the Vanderbilt run in the second half and kind of manage the rotation when your leading scorers were in such foul trouble?
Yeah, I mean, it makes it hard. They're making a run. You've got Shackelford with 4, middle of second half, I think with 10 minutes to go. Keon and JQ picked up 4. I mean, all 3 of those guys had 4 with a significant amount of the game left. So now you're having to play guys that different games of the year didn't play a minute. Just on hold, had games he didn't play at all. He's playing pretty big minutes in a huge game for us. I thought he did well in his minutes. We just had to manage the game. That's part of coaching the game. Guys getting foul trouble, you got to manage it. I thought we did a decent job managing the foul trouble. We have to do a better job being disciplined enough to not get in foul trouble. And I thought the guys that came in and gave it, played more minutes than they would have had we not been in foul trouble, gave us good minutes, from Jason, even Rojas played a little more. JD played maybe more than he would have been used to. He ended up with 8 assists and 7 rebounds. We didn't shoot it particularly well. Some of those guys, maybe some nerves in a big game like this. I'm not sure, but I thought, it was hard to make the comeback without our main guys in the game, but I thought our other guys gave us pretty good effort there.
Time for one more question. Anyone? All right. Thank you.